So we're going to try something a bit different for today's video. I'm not going to do a trade recap because I took no trades. I took 0 trades this week. The market has been so slow that I really had to dial back my aggression and start just looking for those A plus setups. And there just wasn't anything there this week, and so I didn't trade. SES today made a really nice move, and hopefully that brings some life back to the small cap, micro cap market. But until I really see that momentum returning, I'm going to keep my foot on the brakes. A couple months ago, about 3 months ago, I started really focusing on my risk and trying to ensure that I was actually cutting at my risk at the amount that I intended to risk. I lowered the amount that I was risking per trade by about half of what I had been risking previously. And I think that negatively affected my trading. So I got to the point where I was being super disciplined about cutting my trades at my risk level. And that led me to start overtrading because I would see things in the market. Like I say, it's been a slow market. And I would see trades kind of setting up, and I would say, let's go ahead and try to trade this, because what's the worst that can happen? I can lose, $100 or $200. And so I was taking like 4, 5, 6 trades a day. And now, at 5 trades a day at $200 a trade, now I'm losing $1,000. And that's really not where I want to be. So I was aware that I was overtrading, but I didn't know how to stop it. When I was in Orlando a couple weeks ago at the Trader and Investor Summit, I talked to a lot of my close friends who I trade with on a daily basis and chat with in various chat rooms. And so just like while I had that chance when we were in person, I kind of asked everybody, how do you deal with this? What do you do to stop overtrading? And none of the answers really resonated with me. Nothing was really that useful that would snap me out of my overtrading. And that kind of makes sense because trading is such a personal journey. Everyone's going to have different reasons for trading, for taking a trade, for not taking a trade. And it's going to be up to each individual person to find that discipline to only take the trades that they should be taking. And so for me, my spreadsheets have always helped me guide me and give me some of that discipline. So when I got back from Orlando, I dove into my spreadsheets and the answer became very obvious, like right away. I have a couple columns related to setups in my spreadsheets. One of them is just my setup / notes column, where I'll specify like what the setup is and any other notes I want to take on that specific trade. Another one of the columns I have though is just called my setup. And in that column, I just put yes or no. So it's a really clear black and white. Was this trade one of my setups that I should be trading, or was it not? And in this case, recently, most of those trades have not been my setups. So looking at the last 3 weeks in September, I had taken about 30 to 35 trades. Of those trades, only 11 of them were my setup. The other 20 plus trades were basically just random trades. And I didn't even get random results. On the trades that were not my setup, I only won 1 out of 20 plus trades. On the trades that were my setup, out of those 11 trades, I only lost 1 of those 11 trades. So when it was my setup, I was running at over a 90% win rate during that 3-week period. And on the trades that were not my setups, I was basically flipped it. And I don't know, I had less than like a 5% win rate on those trades that I just shouldn't have been trading. And so seeing that stuff just real clear black and white, that's what helps me guide me to get me back on the right path. It's just blatantly obvious that if I'm taking random trades, I'm not going to be getting the results that I would like to get. During the first week in October, keeping this stuff in mind, I really decided to try and rein in my trading. I wanted to average less than one trade per day over a 1 week period. So basically, I wanted to take 0 or 1 trades per day. And during the first week in September, I think I took 5 trades, and 2 of them were not my setups. One of those that was not my setup was my only loss. The other one that was not one of my setups, I had a really small win on. I shouldn't have been trading either of those 2 trades. I still made $2,500 that week, and that would put me on track for like about a 10K month, which is very reasonable. So I'm on the right track. This week, where I was still aiming for that 0 or 1 trades per day, I hit 0 trades per day every single day. Today, with SES, today is Friday, October 11th. SES was the first trade that I've seen recently that almost fit my setup, but even that one still didn't, because it started making its move in after hours on Thursday, and I found that with those specific listed plays, I'm really trading them best when they're putting out news pre-market, and then I can get in very early in the move and try to capture a big chunk of it. Well, I'm hoping that we see some momentum return to the markets next week. Hopefully this move that SES made today will kind of signal the end of the summer trading. I'm really not sure. It may not be till next month before the market really starts to heat up again. And I'm ready. I'm so ready, and I'm waiting for it. But I'll continue being patient. Ultimately, that's really what I wanted to talk about tonight, was patience. Patience waiting for your setups. In this game, it's not like most other areas of work or activity where you're going to actually be active and actively doing something in order to accomplish an objective or to make money at a job, let's say. This isn't like a normal job where you're going to go into work and you're going to be productive and do stuff and therefore get paid. With trading, it's kind of the opposite. It's not about you going out there and making something happen. It's really more about you being patient and watching and waiting for the right setup and being prepared, doing all the preparation beforehand. That's really where the work comes in, is doing all of your preparation every night, working on your watch lists, working on setups, studying the past, all the things that you do to get prepared so that during the market hours, you're able to be patient and sit there and wait and watch. And when that trade comes along, only then do you actually take the trade. And then perhaps you'll win, perhaps you'll lose. But in the long run, if you have an edge, and if you exert that edge multiple times over and over and over, you'll end up ahead. So for me, throughout my trading career, my best results always come when I'm the most focused on a very small number of setups. That was how I initially turned around my P&L from being in just a consistent downtrend when I was first starting out and I was trading everything. I ended up down like $16,000 after about 6.5 months. Once I realized that I needed to just play a couple setups that I was actually good at, the setups that I actually had an edge with, it took me about 6 weeks to get back all of those losses and get back to even. And that's how it's been. It's, my P&L will go on big upswings when I can be really disciplined. That usually coincides with when the market is doing the right thing as well. My setups are presenting themselves often enough that I have my hands full taking the trades that I should be taking. And it's really during those slow times, during those down times, where you've really got to be careful, because that's when I'll start giving away money. I'll start getting bored. I'll start taking random trades and just slowly bleeding my account away. Generally what happens with me is that I'll be on some amount of a losing streak, and after a certain point I kind of hit my pain threshold, and I focus again. I say I'm just going to trade this setup or these 2 setups, and then things turn around. And then when I'm on those hot streaks, that's when I'm like, I'm doing so good. I'm making all this money. Every trade I take is going my way. I need to trade more. And then that reverses the cycle. and puts me back into that downswing. And so this summer, I mean, even this whole year has been slow. It's been really slow, a slow market since like February, January, February, a little bit into March. Other than that, there's been pockets of momentum, but overall, it's just been a really slow year. And that happens. The market is constantly changing, and you have to adapt to it. You have to constantly adapt to the market. You can't just be super robotic and do this exact same thing throughout the year. You really have to have a good pulse on the market and keep in touch with it and adjust your way of trading to what the market is offering. And I just want to leave you with some words from one of Tim Grittani's webinars where someone asked him, Tim, what are your steps in learning to trade? And Tim Grittani just had a great answer, and it wasn't rehearsed at all. He just said this off the top of his head, and it really resonated with me and what I had been through, and I feel like it's very applicable to anyone who's going through this journey. So, I have these steps posted on my wall right above my monitor so I can see them at all times. I can look back at them and remind myself of what it took him kind of to go through to get to where he is, and to kind of help lay out a path for me to try to follow and to stay on. Like I said, someone asked him, what were your steps in learning to trade? And this is what he said: fail, fail some more, learn from mistakes, focus on what I'm good at, narrow my focus to just what I'm good at, only trade that, ignore all the chat room hype, ignore all the crap that people are trading that I shouldn't care about because it's not what I'm good at. Be consistent. Be consistent. Be consistent. Grow the account. Slowly branch out. So with that, I'll see you later.